Now you're gonna put those fish sticks in the microwave and nuke them for a minute and a half.
Kids in bed by 9. But if you want to nuke your hungry, man, go ahead.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. I'm your host, Daniel, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and co-host, Joseph.
Yo, what's up? So how the hell are you, man?
Dude, I'm doing fantastically well now that it is we've wrapped up the week, so everything is awesome. Good in the hood, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. So we're actually celebrating quite a bit today in the Bradley household in Knoxville.
Oh yeah.
Got the 7-year anniversary, got Father's Day. So yeah, man, we're cooking on the front eye over here. How about you, man?
Dude, wait, is that your anniversary?
Wait, did you just ask me, is that my anniversary?
Wait, is your
No, we just decided to celebrate it today.
I just spun out. I just did a mental wheelie. Give me just a second here. Anniversary? Did your anniversary's today?
Did your anniversary? Dude, do we just need to start over?
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus. Yeah, dude. June 16th. What?
Whoa.
What was that?
Whoa. There was just a Jake break going by the apartment.
Gee, Jesus.
Jesus, man. Well,
yeah, dude.
That's awesome, dude. And this is your
7.
7. All right.
Yeah. 7, man. Yeah, and I've enjoyed every one of them.
Every fucking one.
Yeah. Even though I was
one.
Yeah, I was bitching and moaning to Megan about it though, because I was like, wait a second. So you get Mother's Day, and we'll do whatever the hell you want on Mother's Day. But we have to combine Father's Day and our anniversary, so I get maybe a quarter of the day kind of thing.
Correct.
It's like, fuck that noise.
Correct. It's gonna be a quarter of the day, and you'll like it.
Yeah, you'll get not a fucking second more. But
exactly right.
Yeah, dude. So what's new with you, man? How was your week?
Dude, it was good. It was really good. It was, it was good. Just doing the damn thing, man. You know? And rolled into the weekend. Gonna take a little bit of time and chill, get into some non-work related stuff, which is cool.
Rock and roll.
Well, we'll see what the day brings, man. But starting it with Tether Radio, always great.
Word.
Always,
oh yeah, and Megan and I just watched The Highwaymen on I think it was on Netflix.
Was it good?
It was actually pretty damn good. It was so it's a movie about, well, you know what it's about?
Does it have Kevin Costner in it?
Yes. Basically, what has happened is everything is melted, and they're living on a water world. Oh wait, no, that's Waterworld.
Yeah. And then there's
Kevin Costner has gills.
And here's a twist: paper is sought after. Paper.
Peeper.
Two sheets of paper for the little one.
Jeez.
No, dude, he says it.
Are you shitting me?
Fucking movie.
Oh,
no,
wow.
it's something along those lines, you know.
Yeah,
and then Kevin Costner's like, he decides he ain't gonna sell the women or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So this one
he's not gonna barter him for a tube of paper.
Yeah. This was Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. And basically it is the tale about the guys that pursued and were pretty much responsible for the arrest of Bonnie and Clyde.
Got it. Okay.
So, which, funny story about that is, so we literally watched that and we were like, man, it'd be kind of cool to read a book about Bonnie and Clyde. And then we find out that Last Podcast on the Left, their next, 3 episodes are going to be covering Bonnie and Clyde. So I was like, that's convenient. I guess I'll just listen to that.
Well, it's not Donnie and Clyde. I just wanted to correct you real quick.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't 2 dudes? It wasn't 2 brothers just trying to have a good old time?
Yeah. It's me and Donnie. Donnie and Clyde.
It was Johnny, wasn't it? Johnny and Clyde.
Yeah, it was Johnny and Clyde. That's right.
Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden the story becomes a whole hell of a lot less interesting.
Yeah. Oh my god! But dude, their fucking car. We'll move on and start the episode. But their car looked like a fucking piece of Swiss cheese, man. After the cops lit them up, and they fucking pushed the car through this town, and people were pulling articles of clothing and shit out of the car as memorabilia.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a fucking huge deal. It was crazy. Well, it was just weird. It's weird, man. But anyway, let's go ahead and kick this mother off. Right.
Let's do it. Let us get it. Let us do it.
Let us get it. Get it. All right. So I pulled this one from. It's literally news.com out of Australia. And which I don't really know why I pulled it from this one, but whatever. Excuse me. Creepy man busted living in attic above teenage girl's bedroom. So, this dude was...
Yikes.
Yeah. Matthew Casto, 18. He was apparently living in an attic above this... So, this is kind of interesting because they don't go into the relationship between Matthew Casto and this girl, but apparently he was living up there for long enough to where it kind of it had to be a situation of what we were talking about pre-show, that it's some dude probably got kicked out of his fucking house because he was whatever, he was going down the wrong path.
Definitely the wrong path. Listen, anybody who, excuse me, gets into a housing crunch, and the brightest idea is to live in the attic of a 14-year-old. There's some shit is really sideways. You have a couple. Something's not firing on all fucking cylinders, man.
Yeah, but so. Yeah, the investigators said Mr. Casto had been living in the attic, quote, for some time. He allegedly accessed the hidden room via a hatch inside the girl's wardrobe and would visit her at night after she locked her bedroom door. So 2 things. Yeah.
2 things, just real quickly.
Sure.
Number 1, they're the investigator, they're how do you know he's up there for some time? 5 moon pie wrappers.
and a 6-pack of Orange Crush.
Yeah, a 6-pack Orange Crush, 5 moon pie wrappers, and we think he had him some mac and cheese up there.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he was there at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's number 1. Number 2, this is a fucked up Lion Witch in the wardrobe situation, dude. This son of a bitch is just crawling out of her.
Dude, that's fucking. Yeah, dude, that's creepy as shit. But But yeah, so the girl's mother raised the alarm after she arrived home to find a creepy man standing at the top of the staircase. So the mother starts screaming at the dude to like get out of their house. He bolts to the daughter's bedroom and up into the attic, and he was refusing to come out. So they ended up basically, I think they got him out with a taser or something like that, because I pulled another article because apparently they told him not to go to the house, but then let's see, more than a week later, a neighbor called police when they saw him walking toward the house. Officers found him after an extensive search of the home. He was found hiding in the attic again.
Dude, are we? This guy sounds like, I don't know. Sounds like he's like a what was Kevin Spacey's character when he was the alien that ate the bananas with the skin? What was this? You know what I'm talking about?
I know the movie that you're
K-Pax.
K-Pax. Yeah, K-Pax.
It's just like this is like all he knows. This fucking guy. Maybe he just beamed into the attic when he first landed. But it's like, I feel like you know this story too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got a 14-year-old girl, whatever, meets this dude when he's a senior in high school, whatever kind of weird shit, happened. Yeah. And then the guy's actually truly just a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But he tells the girl, he's like, no, they just hate me because I wear a leather jacket. And it makes sense. You know what I mean? It makes sense. Like this fevered, teen brain situation or whatever. Just fucking weird, man.
Super fucking weird.
Totally weird. This guy needs to. I don't know.
Well, he's not going to be visiting that 14-year-old for a hot minute, because I think they hit him with they upped the charges the second time. He was given additional charges of trespassing, unlawfully entering a home, and violating a protection order. So, I'd say he will probably not be visiting her in the
man,
future.
Yeah, dude. And it's like the difference between 17 and 18 is I don't know, 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
3 to 4 years in county.
Yeah.
Jesus, or whatever.
But I do love in this article from Australia. They had like a couple different instances not related to this around the world of like weird, like people living in homes that they weren't welcome kind of thing. And they said in 2008, a man found a strange woman sleeping in an unused cupboard in his home in Fukuoka, southern Japan. After setting up a secret camera when food kept mysteriously disappearing from his kitchen.
Dude, I have to admit, like there are few things that would be enraging.
Yeah.
But somebody like secretly living in my house,
yeah,
would probably be one of those things. I would just be apoplectic. I would just be like, what? Huh? Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how? What do you mean? You know?
Yeah.
So one time, just a quick story.
Yeah.
Just a real quick story.
Speaking of living in unwelcome places.
Well, yeah. So dig this. So I was on when Martha and I first got married.
Mm-hmm.
The first holiday, we decided to go to this little town called Nelson, British Columbia. Mm-hmm. Super cool little town up in BC.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got an Airbnb. It was really nice time. You know, snow had fallen. Nelson's a teeny little picturesque town, and we were just sitting by the fire and like hanging out at this Airbnb. But the Airbnb was above this like woodworking shop,
yeah,
right? That this guy had on his property.
Uh-huh.
And so this dude, when we showed up, this guy's like, hey, he's like, where are you guys from? We're like, oh, we up here from California. He's like, that's cool. And so he like kind of like eyes us or whatever, and he's like, I have something for you. We're like, all right. And he gives us like these 2 like fat joints that he rolled, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's really kind of you. Thank you so much. So anyway, later on, fast forward, and we're making like an oven, an oven pizza or whatever, like a Baron or something. And
oven pizza. I don't think it's ever been described in that fucking manner.
Whatever. I mean, like a
frozen pizza, dude.
A frozen pizza. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. An
oven pizza. A frozen pizza. And so I'm really struggling with my words for some reason this morning. But anyway, so it comes out of the oven, and I pull it out of the oven, and then I was like, dude, I gotta play a trick on her. So I took a huge bite out of one side without cutting it.
Yeah.
So it just had like these fucking like absurd teeth marks in the side.
Yeah.
And then I opened this door, like cracked this door, right?
Yeah.
And then I let Martha discover it. She's like, what is this? I'm like, dude. I'm like, I'll bet you, and I can't remember this guy's name, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll bet you he was high and smelled this pizza and came up and took a bite. It's the only answer.
The only answer.
And I was like, I mean, look, the door's cracked. Like, he probably just snuck up and just got a quick bite and went down. And, went back down to the wood shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking absurd. She was going for it for a while.
Yeah.
She was like, there's no way. I was like, there is a way. I was like, clear. I was in the.
Look,
I was
the
like,
door's unlocked. I wasn't in the room.
Look at these teeth marks.
Yeah.
Not mine. You know my teeth marks. You know them.
you know my teeth marks.
Anyway, but if
awesome.
Kyle really would have been sneaking up for a bite of our oven pizza.
Oven fucking pizza.
I don't know why I put it that way.
Well, speaking of sneaking in and trying to get someone else's food.
Oh man,
let's cruise into this next one, man.
What a great segui.
Yeah, Sugi.
Gayu.
Roanoke man catches intruder trying to microwave butter in his kitchen. So this shit, like, I would urge all listeners to just, like, read this shit, and you need to see a picture of this guy, because the only photo they have of the guy that caught the intruder is literally him standing, I don't even know where, but it looks like he's got, like, what kind of hat would that even be?
It's like a sombrero.
Yeah, it's like a fucking sombrero. And, yeah, this dude, Zach McGuire. So he said he was laying on his bed on his phone, and he heard somebody come into his house. He said, my aunt lives upstairs. My grandma has a key. So he was assuming it was like, whatever. They have access to his house. So then he said he didn't think much of it. And then he heard noises coming from the kitchen. And it ended up being like, he started listening for it, and it was somebody talking to themselves. And he didn't recognize the voice. So this is a quote. I came flying out here into the kitchen, and she's standing right there in front of the microwave, getting ready to nuke my butter. And I told her, she butter not. So the best part, Zach McGuire, pun master, he goes, it startled her a lot more than it did me. And she didn't really have a good reaction to it. She just sat down and started crying on the floor. It's like he was fucking trying like a stand-up like line on her.
Dude, yeah, but and then the shame that this woman is feeling in the picture, right? Where she's like, she's got her head dipped as she's being arrested.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Because he snapped apparently he snapped a photo of her, like after he had made that comment, and she's just squatted down, like crying in the floor of his kitchen. But yeah, dude. He was also quoted as saying she was spaced out, delusional, probably hadn't slept in like 2 or 3 days. She didn't know where she was at, or at least she tried to act like she didn't know where she was at. I mean, this dude is just like fucking incredible. He recommends everyone keep their doors locked and gave some advice for any future intruders and guests. BYOB means bring your own butter.
Dude, I wonder how stoned this guy was during this interaction.
Right? His first reaction would be able to to pull out a fucking pun. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, definitely cool under pressure. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Definitely cool under pressure. And actually, you and I know Roanoke fairly well.
Yeah. This happened in Roanoke, Virginia, which Joseph and I had some family up in Roanoke, so we as kids spent a decent number of summers going to family reunions in Roanoke.
Yeah, but this guy though, he's
God,
like
that shit was creepy. Staying in the old like children's home thing.
You know, I was telling that story to somebody the other day.
Yeah.
And this is like maybe a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, that's not true. I was like, it is true, dude. And they're like, it's not true. And I was like, yes, it is true. And they were like, your uncle ran a children's home? They were like, that's like the beginning of a horror movie.
Yeah.
You know?
And it fucking
and it was a children's home from like 1908.
Yeah. It was like super early 20th century, and then I remember we'd show up and like it almost felt like a fucking like you were being taken into prison, because you'd get like a fucking bed sheet and like a pillow, because it was they were all just like fucking single cots, and so we would just like all sleep in the same fucking room.
Right.
It was weird.
Totally
Thinking
weird.
back on it, it was definitely weird. But
yeah, it was. But I mean, but here's the thing, though. He wasn't weird.
What, our uncle?
No, Don was like
Don's super cool.
Super cool, and was like just a good dude, just doing the thing, you know.
Yeah, it was just the scenario was strange, but
yeah, absolutely. So, dude, tell us a little bit about this, the AI generated face.
Yeah, man, this is so Joseph pulled this one from Associated Press News, and it was titled "Experts Spy Used AI Generated Face to Connect with Targets." So this is really kooky, because the funny thing is, this face that they have for the article. I mean, it looks like a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't look exactly like anybody, but it looks like a lot of people.
Right.
And so anyway, Katie Jones sure seemed plugged into Washington's political scene. Now, Katie Jones is the identity that was given this AI generated. Well, they think that it was AI generated. But Katie doesn't exist. So what happened was, let's see, who actually discovered this? Because let's see, because they were talking about how, let's see,
You're saying who discovered
who discovered
that it was an
the
AI
actual?
generated?
Yeah, who discovered this photo? Because man, I had it.
Yeah, so as I understood it,
mm-hmm.
there was an investigation going into or an investigation into this the person behind this account, right?
Yeah,
and then they were like, wait a second, who is this a picture of?
Yeah.
And then that's how they figured out that it was actually just a generated face. You know?
Yeah, because she tried to. Well, the person running the account for Katie Jones tried to get a connection. Here it is. With Keir Giles, who's a Russia specialist with London's. Is it Chatham? Chatham? Chatham?
I think it is Chatham, I think.
Chatham? Okay. London's Chatham House think tank. So this person, Keir Giles, basically received a connection request from Katie Jones, and he was like, first of all, I don't know this person. Second of all, she supposedly works in this this place or whatever that, let's see, it was like this, yeah, here we go. She claimed to have been working for years as a Russia and Eurasia Fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. But Giles said, if that were true, I should have known who she was. So he flagged it and basically said, this is weird. This person, I don't know this person. They're basically stating that they work in this, with this group that if she did, I would know who she is. So then it got pushed off to another guy that is very like familiar with basically. He's done studies with like basically AI generated faces and stuff, and like facial recognition and stuff like that. And he starts breaking down like this photo of like why they think that this is an AI generated face. And it was super interesting because one thing did hop out to me immediately, and it was the earring thing that they point out, because they point out that like it looks like she's got like a pearl stud earring, but in the photo it's like blurred or smeared almost kind of thing. And it was kind of weird because everything else in the photo is in focus, Right. And she has like striations on her cheek, which apparently is indicative of being like generated. And then they have like this halo effect on her hair that that basically it's almost like a glow kind of thing, which is also indicative of the this being a generated image. But apparently this is not that uncommon, because with LinkedIn, normally you might be connecting with somebody that you don't really know that well, that it's just like, oh, well, I want this connection so that more people are going to see my profile and maybe I can get that job that I've been gunning for, whatever, And so, and a lot of people treat LinkedIn like they, like some people treat Facebook, that it's like, hey, any friend requests and stuff, I accept it. Doesn't matter, Right. And so, what's happening is, these people are using these fake profiles in LinkedIn and making connections with people that maybe have a little bit more clout, and it almost seems as an endorsement to these fake profiles, kind of thing. So it's problematic, man, because LinkedIn apparently they've been trying to fight this fake profile stuff, but like, I'd say that they're probably deleting as many as are being made, and it's just kind of a net zero,
Yeah, but I mean, this isn't. What's interesting. What is interesting about this is that, for me at least, is that like catfishing isn't anything new.
Yeah.
Right. Catfishing's been around for a while. People do this or whatever, and that's the way that it goes. But But this idea of using an AI-generated face, the first thing that I was thinking is, there are certain aspects of a human face that people universally find attractive, right? Have you ever read about this?
I know symmetry's way up there, right?
Yeah, so it's just basic. There's some basic.
Basically, you can't have a wonk eye.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You need a
lack of a wonk eye is definitely good.
Yeah. But
what the fuck?
Whoa, dude! It's a police state right now.
What is that?
Oh yeah, this guy's getting yelled at here. Dude, okay, so outside my apartment, somebody has decided to park their car in the bike lane, and this cop is yelling at this guy over the phone or over his megaphone, and it is very loud and picked up, I'm sure, very well by this microphone.
Yeah.
So anyway, but there are certain aspects of the human face that people just find universally attractive, right? And that was one of the things that I was thinking about. This is like, I wonder, the profile photo definitely matters, when people are accepting friend requests, and that was, I was wondering if they were going to mention anything about that, which they didn't, but of like generating a face that most people would find attractive and would accept the friend request on. Just allowing this spy, everybody to feel like that, ooh, Katie, what's up? You know what I mean?
Katie Jones.
Oh, Katie Jones.
Katie Jones, can I holler at you? Can I holler at you?
Hey, Katie. But yeah, man, so that's a really, really interesting story. I wonder how much that shit, it's probably everywhere. Like, everybody's probably a double agent at this point. You know what I mean? Being paid in crypto and just reporting on, on their friends' Facebook pages or whatever. But that's. But it's. I really dug that story, man. Just
it's super. It's a good read. It's not too long. I would definitely recommend checking it out in the show notes after the show. And I think we're actually going to be kind of revisiting this in a later article, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some serious fuckery just around the corner. But anyway, okay. Hopping on to the next article here. Millennials face greatest hardships from toxic economic conditions, right? So, I thought this was pretty fascinating. It's a bit of research out of out of Harvard, or out of Stanford. And basically what this is discussing is that that millennials are facing challenges, according to this study, that are kind of unique, when compared to previous generations, right? And that, and the kind of little, just pulling a sentence from the article, and their struggles are likely signs of mounting issues due to decades of rising economic inequality in the U.S. All right. So just as a quick reminder, millennials are individuals born between 1980 and 2000, the year 2000.
Okay.
And so, that is you, that is me, that's most people we know. There's some really interesting stats in here. One, for example, the median earnings for a 25-year-old millennial male who have a high school degree or less are $29,000 a year. About $2,600 less than Gen Xers, and $10,000 less than baby boomers at the same age.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is, we'd have to go in and see if this is adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
But if that's $1,000 less than baby boomers, like, fuck, you know?
Oh yeah, dude.
So in their prime, they're making $39K, and that's whatever in 1970 whatever, and then you're talking $29,000 a year in 2019. That's a tough road to hoe, man.
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they also get into in this study, they get into the effects of like 2007 and 2008 on millennials, and also, and I thought this part was really interesting. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
They get into the effects of social media, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that one was pretty fascinating because, you and we've talked about this, but
Yeah.
I can remember calling people and leaving messages, on answering machines, tape answering machines, right?
Yeah.
Or calling and being like,
Is so-and-so home? No.
yeah,
Whatever,
hey,
they're at karate or something,
yeah, can you tell Matt I called? Like that
Yeah.
kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also remember when I was I guess you were in high school, I was in college, you telling me about Facebook and setting up my Facebook profile. Do you remember this?
Not really, but that doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
It's like 2000.
Because I remember I think I wanted to help you set up one because I wanted one, but that was when it was still only you had to have a college email. Like it wasn't opened up to, and honestly, I don't even think that it was opened up to every college.
Yeah,
at that
I think
point.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. So 2000, what, 6?
Yeah, probably. No, it would have been like 2004, probably.
Got it.
Yeah, because 2006 I would have been at UT.
Got it. Okay. So yeah.
But
That would make sense.
Yeah,
No, that would make sense. 2000. It would have been 2004 or 2005.
yeah, yeah.
And so anyway, but it's interesting because that's a lot of, those are formative years, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And people that were born in 2000 have grown up with Facebook, right?
Yeah, yeah. And dude, and fucking cell phones.
And
like
cell
just
phones.
this like insanely huge step in connectivity between people.
Yeah, and
You know.
so and that's kind of one of the things that they mention here is that this crazy high rate of depression, of like suicide rates have skyrocketed. Like it's just some weird, fucking territory that we're in, right?
Yeah.
And what they say is that this generation might be and I think this is the quote from the article, but canary in the coal mine for the way that this is all, that all that's gonna, affect
the effect
social
that it's
media.
having.
Yeah, social media and prescription drugs being treated like they are. With people having whatever. Everybody's got like a seasonal, personality
Seasonal depression
disorder.
disorder or something,
Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. Like I saw one the other day that was like, "Are you tired during the day? Are you, do you have trouble concentrating? You might have narcolepsy." It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
that's
I'm
just
tired because I was probably fucking on my phone until 2 a.m. and got up
Right.
at 8,
But it's like it's insane, right? That the amount of drug pushing that happens, and and I do think that that's unique, unique to this generation, right?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I thought the canary in the coal mine comment, that for me was why I pulled the article.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because this is some rare air, man. Like a generation that hasn't had like one like a unifying cause, right?
Well, and I think that's kind of why we have so much. I don't know. I guess I would not to dramatize it too much, but or dramatize it too much. But like, I think that it's, you know, that's why we have so much civil unrest these days, that it's like everybody's looking for something to like fucking be up in arms about or something, you know, or like stand for. And because it's like, you know, like we were talking, you know, you don't stand for anything, you fall, or you don't, if you don't stand for anything, how does it fucking go?
Yeah, it's if you don't stand for anything,
if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Yeah, something like
that. But yeah, and I mean, I think that's why, you know, we've cultivated this this rage culture, that it's like, you know, people they're not, their time is not occupied by something else that's more productive. So they get super pissy about fucking plastic straws, you know, at Starbucks or something, you know?
Right.
Just because they've got the fucking time to do that, so.
Yeah, and you know, which, you know, I guess not to kind of try to keep in the middle of the fairway here. There may or may not be value about fucking banning plastic straws. It's just It's just odd that people like glum on to everything.
Yeah,
you know, there's like a rage group for absolutely every transgression or whatever, right?
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
But it's just I don't know. It's just it's an interesting idea that that this is the first generation that's really experienced this weird mix of you know, kind of like macro things in society. You know, the overprescribing, like we said, the overprescribing of pharmaceuticals kind of coming up in this kind of like alternate world of social media. Yeah. Right? It's not real, but everybody's life seems better than yours, and you know, but you're not. But then, you know, you have to get up and kind of, you know, conduct a business in normal life, which, you know, ain't as cool as everybody else's on Instagram. And then it's like, you know, I don't know, man. And then the depression. It's just it's a very, very, very interesting time. So, and an interesting, I think, inflection point in the way that you know, future generations are kind of like think about the world, you know? But it just seems like, you know, if you're a millennial, like, you know, take a second and chit chat with your friends. Like, so many people are just like, I don't know, you know, like not passionate about shit. Like, you know, just
like looking for fucking purpose, man.
Yeah, man. Just kind of floating around trying to figure it out. It's pretty interesting. So.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But anyway, yeah, definitely worth a read on that one. But so the next article, you and I were chatting about this. There have been an unusual number of deaths in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, tourist deaths, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on with this?
So we pulled this one, or I pulled it from the New York Post. Bootleg liquor eyed as cause of Dominican Republic tourist deaths. So I pulled this article, and then we kind of have a little bit of an updated article that I'll kind of skim over after this one. But basically, they've had these mysterious deaths in the Dominican Republic, and they were thinking that it was because the booze that was being stocked in the mini bars in the rooms, they were thinking that it was like counterfeit booze, and that it was poisoned, like with, you know, like methanol or something like that. Which they are, I don't think that they have conclusive evidence at this point about the cause of deaths for some of these people. But I know that a couple of them were basically they pretty much figured out that they had heart attacks. So
they figured out that all of them had heart attacks?
No. A couple of the victims, or I guess victims, but anyway, so because it was one of these things that people basically they didn't really change anything that they were doing, with the exception of they were drinking from the mini bars in the rooms. And
Right.
so the FBI took blood samples, and they sent them back to Quantico to basically be analyzed and to figure out if something, if something shows up in their blood like methanol. Obviously, it's not supposed to fucking be there. So, but yeah, so this happened in the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino and Bahia Principe. I don't know. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. But
Okay.
but the Dominican Republic, the Dominican government basically insisted that the fatalities were isolated incidents and basically said, oh, they were simple accidents kind of thing. But the weird thing is how many of them there are, because over the course of I think in 2018, they had 5 American tourists that died in mysterious circumstances on the island. Or no, I'm sorry, that was this year. And then 2 others died in 2018.
Right.
And so they were thinking that the ones from 2018, that there's actually foul play involved. So, but the other thing is let's see, they said that a Post reporter at one of the resorts noted the vodka in the room had a strange, potent smell resembling PGA, or like pure grain alcohol, like Everclear, if you're familiar with that.
Right.
And so, which might be indicative that it ain't fucking vodka, So,
Right.
But so they're looking into that, and they said that the symptoms that the people had experienced prior to death, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and those are very consistent with poisoning from methanol or pesticides, which is another thing that's being thrown in at this point. So
Interesting.
yeah, so they're basically thinking that either, which I don't know, it makes me think that it may just be like the quality of the quality testing, I guess, for alcohol that you're getting in the Dominican is probably not up to U.S. standards. If I was a betting man,
Right.
and so maybe there's just like contamination kind of stuff or something along those lines. But I mean, still, obviously it's fucking problematic as shit if your guests are dying. So,
Right.
So they're looking into that, but
That's it's got to be, the alcohol thing makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
And
the weird thing is that's the common thread among all these deaths is
Right.
that everybody had drank from the minibar kind of thing,
Right.
And they had even
Right.
they had I can't remember if it was this New York Post article or the other one that I pulled as the update, but basically, what had happened was people had gotten ill after drinking from the minibar and not died. So it might have just been one of these things that, obviously your body can handle, depending on what it is, your body might be able to handle a little bit of some kind of poison, but maybe these other people were just, more heavily drinking kind of thing or something.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think
watch your
that's
booze in the Dominican, man.
well. That's so. Did you read the one about the couple in Fiji? Did you read
What's
this?
going on there?
So there was a couple in Fiji who had some like really, really odd symptoms, and then both of them died. Right.
Weird. Yeah.
But like their extremities were going numb. Nausea and diarrhea.
Yeah.
And then both of them, ended up going to the hospital in Fiji, and then unfortunately not pulling through. But
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, dude. I mean, it's
Well, I think this is just a lesson, man, that it's like, dude, when you leave the United States, remember that you're leaving the United States. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a really good point, man. I mean, do you remember when you and I were in Peru and we woke up and our tongues were black? Remember that shit?
Yeah, but that was that was because of that the Pepto-Bismol chewables. because
Yeah.
the pharmacist that I was working for at the time told us to take that like the first couple days we were there, and it would help us adjust to the food.
No, but wasn't it some kind of like fungus or something, or what was it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a funk. It was some kind of bismuth, something that it's like once it, like if you don't rinse your mouth, or like normally when you eat Pepto-Bismol, you're either about to eat or you've already eaten kind of thing, and you're probably not going straight to bed. Well, Joseph and I got a couple beers and took some Pepto-Bismol after the beers or whatever, and just went to bed.
Wait, did we even eat? Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah, we totally. Yeah, we did.
Did
we got something small. We got something small at that joint at the place.
We need to do a podcast just on our Peruvian fucking adventures, man, because that was a fucking trip. But
that was a fun one. That was a good trip.
Yeah, Joseph literally just quick and dirty. Joseph won a sales competition at the company that he was working at, and basically chose. I think he got like $2,500 and like for tickets or something.
They said, oh, everybody gets a certain amount of a certain allocation to buy airfare or whatever to go anywhere you want, but you can't go overseas. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And I was like, great, South America's connected to North America, bitch. And so
yeah, because they told Joseph that it was too much of a liability us trying to go to London. Yeah. But we were allowed to go to fucking Lima.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I got some shit for it, but we also spent like $2,400, $900, $99 or whatever. So
yeah,
it was like
it was literally right under the max. But and I think we did the whole trip for like $400 out of pocket for us.
Yeah,
so.
man. Well, it was super cheap once we got down there.
Yeah,
we had a good time, man. Hopping around, checking some shit out, and meeting some people.
But I guess the obviously the small tangent, but the thing is dude, it's just when you leave the United States, you're leaving our regulations, you're leaving our regulatory bodies, you're leaving the FDA, you're leaving the the DEA, you're leaving all of these organizations that make sure that the food that's making it to your table, obviously not the DEA in that regard, but that it's
the
regulated.
Drugs that are
it's
making
clean.
their way into your body, that you purchase, that they're pure and clean.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean it's totally true, and I think that it is generally this is how people just get into trouble.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can't just walk down the street in the same way that you do in your hometown when you're not in your hometown. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there are like, I don't know. When people go overseas and they act like jackasses, like it's just shit happens, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So it's interesting though, but like 10 deaths, that is really, really crazy. So it's going to be
and the thing is, yeah, and the 10 deaths, it's not like it's just happening in the Dominican. It's happening at these 2 hotels.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's obviously something is fucking problematic in these hotels. But so yeah, we'll probably keep an eye on this one and see what kind of poison results or whatever, what kind of results come back from the blood tests that the FBI is dealing with at this point. So, but
So
anyway.
So moving on here, WhatsApp pledges to sue for offline behavior. What is the deal with this? This
is
story?
Fucking incredible. That's what it is, dude. But so WhatsApp is threatening users who violate its rules with lawsuits, even if the only evidence of, quote, rule breaking exists outside of the Facebook-owned messaging app, and the only judge is an AI. So I don't understand how they would have any kind of jurisdiction off their fucking app.
So I'm gonna use this as a springboard to two other things, right?
Okay.
That are both related, but just were really good points that I heard made last night. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this is an overreach. Obviously.
Yeah.
But these companies, man, have really, really played this kind of move into the data age really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And instead of being as impartial as possible, have put themselves in a situation where they have taken sides and have now suggested that they should be, you know, some like the regulator of behavior.
Yeah, it's basically the regulator of online behavior kind of thing.
Yeah, and and that's hugely problematic because they do not have the ability, you know, to legislate right around this. So but I mean, it's just, you know, and the point that was made last night that I heard last night, and actually I think it was Naval. Have you ever heard of Naval Ravikant?
I don't think so.
Okay, he started a company called AngelList. Is a, you know, investor, Silicon Valley type, right?
He started Angie's List?
Yeah, exactly. He's Naval Ravikant, aka Angie. My friends call me Angie. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so he was making this point on, I was listening to the Rogan podcast, just a section of it before I headed out last night, and that was a point that he made, which was like, you know, rather than trying to stay as impartial as possible and saying like, look, everything can go up on these platforms except things that are illegal, and things that are illegal we will take off, right? Yeah. But instead of doing that, they've kind of made this move to, you know, yank things that for whatever reason they think are inappropriate. And so it's like really hard to drive back towards, you know, the middle, or even suggest that you're impartial after that, because clearly you're not, right?
Yeah.
And so now you've got the left that's saying, well, you should take down these other things, and then you've got the right saying, well, you know, well, what about this from the left, right? Yeah. And it's just, you know, it's hard to kind of back that up and backtrack. And so my point in saying this is that, you know, I think that bizarrely, in a really bizarre way, things like this are just driving towards this even further overreach. And I don't understand why companies are doing this, because it just seems so unbecoming. Like, there's no way this works out well. Yeah. There's no way. I mean, I think people will kind of take it to a certain point, and then we'll just be like, fuck it. Because, I mean, really, do you need Facebook? Like, no, you don't.
Exactly.
You don't really need Facebook. Like, do you need a telephone? Like,
that's why it's called social media, is because it's founded in just literally your social life, you know? Yeah. It's not, like you said, it's not your fucking job to make sure that everybody knows what that you update your fucking whatever status kind of thing. So these are just really interesting times as companies that are at that stage, at that not stage, but at that, you know, kind of at the nexus of, you know, real world stuff, you know, and at the nexus of reality, and like your online avatar or whatever, your online persona, how they're kind of, you know, bridging that gap. And then the second thing that I was going to bring up, and this is kind of I'm kind of force-fitting this, but I wanted to mention it because I thought it was pretty interesting. Sure.
WhatsApp is a part of Facebook.
And Instagram.
Facebook is releasing a cryptocurrency called Global Coin. Have you heard of this?
So I saw something about like a headline that Facebook was releasing one. That was literally all that I saw though.
And suffice to say, I guess that's absurd for a number of reasons, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I thought this was the point. And I won't get into the many details as to why like Facebook issuing a cryptocurrency doesn't really make sense. I mean, even functionally, it just doesn't make sense. It's like, what's the difference in a cryptocurrency that Facebook is issuing and like, you know, again, like a point system that Facebook just keeps track of. You know what I mean? Like Reddit Gold,
like Reddit Karma.
Reddit Karma versus Global Coin are actually would be very, very similar in the way that they would work, and it's like it begs many questions as to why the fuck anybody would do this. However, the one point that I saw somebody make that I think is the point is that look, man, if they're trying to issue a cryptocurrency for the sake of people, you know, being able to earn and exchange value, and these fucking people can just ban you or shadow ban you or do things that manipulate, you know, that manipulate your ability to like interact or that, you know, curtail your ability to, you know, interact in their ecosystem. Why the fuck would you put them in control of your bank? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why would you put them in control of like the value that is in your life? Yeah. You know, so like your bank, you know, you shit post and like your bank just decides you don't have access to it for 2 weeks. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's absolutely absurd. And that's why, anyway, just to bring it back around and kind of and hand the mic back over to you. Yeah. These overreaches are just so obviously inappropriate and are so obviously a bad idea. I don't understand how they're continuing, and I don't understand why people are continuing to take it. And there will be a breaking point. It's just interesting to think about what that breaking point will have to be. You know
and honestly, this is gonna sound so fucking stupid, but I swear to God, I honestly think this is a huge driving factor. FOMO. And I'm not fucking joking. Fear of missing out. That is a driving factor that it's like, well, if I'm not sticking with these social media platforms and playing by the rules and stuff, then I'm gonna miss out on something. And it's like, dude, it is a fucking psychological fucking problem, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's just interesting. It's interesting that people's lives have gotten to a point where their reality is so difficult or hard.
The reality is so fucking curated.
Yeah, well, certainly online, but it's like what I'm saying is, what about just closing your computer or setting your phone down and just going for a stroll? Yeah. Like it sounds absurd, but like, does it? You know? I mean, that's the thing that for me, I'm just I have such a hard time wrapping my mind around. Last night, I went out at probably, I don't know. I mean, I was like doing a little bit of work and was just kind of, kicking around the house. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the train up and do some exploring up in Hollywood, just walk around or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I just decided to like walk around downtown. I'm in downtown LA. Mm-hmm. And it was really amazing because I was like, I'm just going to just walk and just, and just kind of observe or whatever. Mm-hmm. Number one, it's amazing that you have to make a conscious effort to do that because you've been so programmed like a little rat, licking a a sugar cube to continue to grab your phone.
Yeah.
And that was another, by the way. I would really suggest the Naval podcast was really interesting. But another point that he made was the smartest people on the planet have been hired to figure out how to like exploit your loopholes and get you to continue to like grab for devices and log onto websites and all that. But but you know, I'm like walking around and it's just everybody is buried in their phone, in their device. Yeah. I mean, absolutely fucking everyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, take some time wherever you are, right? The next time you're in a public place, take 10 minutes and just walk around and just look.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking crazy how far we are down this path.
Yeah.
Where it's just absolutely everyone. Like, no one is excluded. You know? I mean, you're walking around, dude, and kids have like fucking iPads in strollers.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Man, so I was working a day shift at the bar that I work at, and I bet I had 7 people in there, none of them speaking to each other, everybody on their phone, like having a beer. I mean, it's bizarre, dude. Because I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just really weird.
It certainly is where we are today, and I think that not kind of pushing against that is something that you will regret not doing. Not you. Yeah. I think anyone will regret it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's just like, you know, you want, you know, people want to eat right to you know, have good nutrition. They want to be, you know, want to go to the gym and work out so that they have like a, you know, better body and all these things or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously your mind is a part of this equation, and to not take care of that and get that shit straight is like, it's not good. I don't know. Yeah. So I guess just to reflect back on the you know, millennial article too, it's just, we'll see how it pans out, but it's interesting.
We'll wrap this article. I just wanted to read this last paragraph because I don't know, it resonated with me. But so WhatsApp did not explain how it proposes to crawl the web looking for evidence of terms of service violations, but with parent company Facebook's surveillance tools at its disposal, it has plenty of options. The company boasted it removes more than 2 million accounts every month, over 75% of those without user complaints.
Right.
Ostensibly for, quote, bulk or automated behavior. Ironically, the hunting is done by an automated detective. WhatsApp's vaulted, quote, machine learning classifiers. So, I mean, like, that's the thing, dude. Knowing that Facebook owns, Facebook is what Facebook is. It owns Instagram, and it also owns WhatsApp. So you've got basically any kind of communication pretty much covered, kind of thing, or at least any kind of online communication or digital communication covered.
Yep.
And so, I mean, it's just like, dude, you know, if they want to do this, I mean, they like they said, they've got plenty of fucking options to pull this stuff off. So,
yeah, man, yeah. So it's gonna be, it's just, I don't know. I mean, we are right there. Like this type of behavior is, you know, all well and good while everything is, you know, kind of going according to plan. But like, can you imagine if there's like a lockdown and people are just totally dependent on this platform, and for whatever reason, you know, like the Facebook agenda just started to, I don't know, man, started to be like more devious. Not that it hasn't been, but it's just the amount of control there is pretty startling.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking startling for something that's, started off as a glorified yearbook,
Yeah, for sure.
But man, I mean, you know what though? These are exciting times. It's not, for me, when we talk about this kind of stuff, it's not doom and gloom at all.
Yeah.
I think that having the opportunity to think about these problems and like think through different solutions for these problems is a pretty awesome thing, man. And so, I mean, this shit is hard, but like, I wouldn't have it any other way,
Well, and if you're not
some of
fucking
the most
happy,
exciting times.
Yeah. And if you're not happy, man, do something about it.
Yeah.
Fucking, pay attention. Fucking read, but, get off Facebook. Go, like you said, take a 10-minute walk and enjoy life and the outdoors.
Yeah. And just, yeah, man, it's just so super crazy, man. One life to live, and you see just people spending so much time just kind of buried in the bullshit. I mean, we're probably in a projection anyway, so okay, so let's bring this thing into the home stretch here.
Let's do it.
Deep fakes.
Yeah,
deep
man.
Fakes. Damn.
So this is the article that I was talking about, or I'm alluding to earlier. But go ahead, dude.
Yeah, so the article, this article specifically is discussing deep fakes and how they could be problematic in the upcoming elections, next year's elections, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow, dude, that's so weird. I did not even think. That's so fucking weird. Anyway,
what?
Go ahead. Sorry. You said next year's election, and I was like, holy shit, it is 2020 next year.
Yeah, it's 2020. Yep.
Anyway.
And so one of the things that they're chatting about here is that, I mean, these deep fakes, this deep fake thing is fairly new. Like, we started covering this maybe a year ago, in the fall of 2018.
Yeah.
And we started covering it because there was a couple of videos that had surfaced on maybe Pornhub, maybe, that were like celebrities whose faces were superimposed over adult actors, right?
Yeah.
Adult entertainment actors or whatever fucking porn stars, you know what I mean?
You're so diplomatic about
it. I know. I was trying to tap dance a little bit there, try to sound smart. But anyway, so, and it was like an issue, obviously, because these things looked very real, and this was a celebrity's likeness that was being used, and it was just didn't, whatever, it was a problem.
Yeah.
And so what's wild is between now and then, deep fakes have just gotten way, way, way better. Have you seen any of these videos by chance?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so there's one of Obama like shit talking Donald Trump, right? There's another one of like that shows these researchers who are like dancing, right? And their bodies are what they've done is they've recorded professional dancers, and then they have kind of used that as a underlying structure for a video of themselves, right? And so then it just looks like they are professional, like they are dancing, and these moves are just ridiculous, right? And it's like some kind of nerdy guy from Stanford or whatever. And so it's like the level of this technology now, it's like you can still kind of tell like something doesn't look right, but man, I mean, in short order, you will not be able to tell at all.
Yeah.
Like this will look like, reality.
It'll look like whatever they want it to fucking look like.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, we are now entering into a phase where you're like, I don't know, did he say it? Like there is no fact. You know what I mean? There is no evidence for fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
And I mean, that's what we're having to deal with right now, especially in the political scene. That it's like basically a fact is whatever you want a fact to fucking be, kind of thing. Yeah. And it's like, oh well, we're gonna make this statement, and then we're gonna come up with evidence, kind of thing.
Yeah, and there just isn't. That's so crazy. So in a world where there is no, you don't have the ability to like prove a fact, right? Because like how would you? Yeah, you can't trust sound. You can't trust an audio clip. You can't trust a video clip. You can't trust. And if you saw it yourself, then everybody's just got to trust you. Yeah.
And I mean, that's literally where we're getting though, is that if you didn't see it in person, like fucking, then you have to question it. Period.
If you didn't see it in person, right? And so if you didn't see it in person, but yeah, I mean, and that's just, I don't know. It's just a really, really, really interesting question existentially for journalism, right? Yeah. The whole purpose of journalism is to like share information of things that have happened, right? About things that have happened. And now we're entering into this place where it's like the information shared, you have no way to prove whether that thing happened or not. Yeah. Right? Like, and so, you know, this idea that like a journalist is like a person who abides by certain, you know, codes, a certain code of ethics and like behaves in a certain way is just it's just fundamentally not true anymore, right? I mean, your social media and things that are, you know, like you and I are as much journalists as we are anything. Yeah, like everybody's a journalist now, you know. So anyway, this one's just really interesting because you know the reason I pulled it was that next year is going to be. It's going to be a really, really interesting year to see how deepfakes are used. But even past that, you know, it's just we are now in a place where people are admitting you cannot trust what you see. Yeah. And by the way, not only can you not trust what you see, don't do it. You know what I mean? Be skeptical. Yeah. So it's just like I can imagine some rough waters ahead, right? Yeah. Like I don't know, was there a ship that was, you know, torpedoed or hit a mine or whatever in you know, in the Mediterranean? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's just like you just don't. It's crazy. It's weird that we've gotten to this point, man. Because you know, like I think we were talking about it a little bit when we were going over articles to cover. Just how the old saying of like whatever, believe, you know, half of what you read or all of what you see, half of what you hear, and none of what you read, or something. You know, it's basically it's basically evolved to don't believe anything, or at least don't take everything with a grain of salt unless like you know you see it. Period. That's it. You know. Yeah. But totally. Pretty crazy shit, man. It's only gonna get crazier. So But all right. So this has been episode 53. 53, man. We're embarking on our second year with this episode. 53. Yeah. All right, man. Well, that was a good one to start it with. Yeah, so here we go. Here's our social jingle at the end here. If you dig it, if you don't dig it, if you just got something to say, something you want to get off your mind, hit us up, tetherradio@gmail.com. That's TETHERRADIO@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @tether_radio, Instagram same damn handle at Tether_radio, and on Facebook, Tether Radio, all one word. I just love it. Oh God, this is like the duality of life, right? Like, you know, it's like we spend time to drive people to social media, which is then like mind fucking us all, you know? It's so ridiculous.
It's a necessary evil at this point, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you know, it's like drink or eat. But don't swallow, you know. Touch, but don't taste.
Look, but don't touch, but don't taste, but don't swallow.
And he's sitting up there on his cloud. You know what I'm talking about?
Devil's advocate, man.
Yeah. But you know, it's crazy how Al Pacino goes ape shit when Keanu kills himself. I mean, he really loses it, man. Anyway, different topic for a different day. But this has been episode 53 of Tether Radio. We enjoyed having you here, and look forward to you lending us your ears next week as well. So again, episode 53, Tether Radio. I'm Joseph,
and I'm Daniel.
We're reminding you, dear friends, stay tethered. Talk to you next week.